Thank you for tuning into Three Hoodoo Sisters. The month of April has been a really crazy month. We lost so many people. Just the energy of April of 2016 was just a wild month. So rest in peace to China. Rest in peace to, that hurts my soul. Prince, it hurts me just to say it. But let's just get to the point of the video. On April 23rd, Beyonce released Lemonade. And there was something I noticed before it was coming out on 5, which is the number of Oshun. And if you notice, she has on her yellow, there's a tropical feeling, the fruits. There's a lot of African symbolism within this, well, West African, to be exact, symbolism in these videos that she's been putting out. And thank you, Beyonce. You got those lunatics who are going to say it's Illuminati, which is not true. It's actually more so West African influences. Ladies and gentlemen, put down those books about the Greek gods. Put down those books about whatever is not African, whatever is not on your path. As a black person and as a person of African descent, put down all of that European-based stuff and get to know your Orishas. Get to know your Loas. Get to know the spirits that actually came with your ancestors from Africa. Get to know them. This is your opportunity. I've always known that Beyonce was involved in this stuff. I'm not surprised. I mean, who do you think is Sasha Fierce? Sasha Fierce has always been Oshun. So that's not a surprise. But what I'm really making this video is to start letting people know, get connected with your African spirituality. You don't have to go have like natural hair and wear daishiki. Like, that's not something that you actually need to do. So some people feel like in order to get involved in African spirituality, you have to be like supernatural and just doing all of this extra stuff. The thing is, when you become more aware, you make changes. It's just when you start to read more books about spirituality and how to live your life, how to eat, sleep, and dress, it changes your whole level of awareness. So it's not just people wake up and they just decide to do all of these things. It's just that changes happen and you become influenced by your spirituality. But there's a lot of people who don't just fall into that stereotype. I know plenty of people who are very pro-African spirituality, but they have permed hair. They work in corporate America. It's more so about the awareness of yourself and the awareness of where your ancestors came from. We did not come from Europe. We did not come from these Greek and mythical, biblical gods. But the Bible is still a very powerful tool. So we're not going to stump the Bible. This video is not about condemning anyone who practices that. It's not. This is a many people have demonized African spirituality. They've lowered it. They've made it comical. They've made it into horror movies. They've bastardized any form of African spirituality is considered primitive, backwards, and the maid whore of Satan. So people, whenever you speak about African spirituality and anything that takes away from God and his son, Jesus, then that automatically puts you in a place of devil worshiping, which is a completely different type of religion. Are there heavier energies in African spirituality? Of course, just like there's duality in everything. There's duality and positive, and there's negative. There's dark and light in everything. That's just how the earth balances itself out. But your journey is yours. You don't have to share your African spirituality journey, or really becoming more aware of yourself, becoming more aware of who you are and where you come from. You don't have to be apologetic for that. It's obvious that Beyonce is not apologetic. She busted out the damn door, and here comes out Fresh Waters, and she's walking out that bitch with a damn baseball bat ready to snatch wigs, edges, lace fronts, two pieces, braids, twists, whatever you got in your fucking head. So that's how spirituality is. It's a journey, and you'll be surprised by how a lot of the African deities are very similar to these Greek gods, and also to the Egyptian gods, which we know is still part of Africa, because many of you will be so much more taken by Egypt, which we as black people have been denied Egypt, as if there's no way in hell a whole bunch of black folk living in the desert could have played a role in building one of the greatest, and still to this day, one of the greatest empires, because black folks don't have the mind to do that. Okay, so let me just move on. The first thing I would tell you on your journey is read, 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 learn, learn, learn. You don't have to share it. This is something that you can start on your own journey. And yes, people will think you're out of your damn mind. Y'all, Jesus is not the only one who walks with us, okay? Jesus is not the only ones that walks with us. We have Shango who walks with us. We have Orumala. We have Obatala. We have Oshun. We have Oya. Okay, we have Yamiya. Okay, we have the 7 African powers. We do not walk in this path alone. Someone owns our head, which means that we have a special spirit whose characteristics are similar to ours, and that they're here to walk with us. We don't walk alone. They're here to help us in our love life, our financial, our path, our destiny. They walk with our ancestors. So please understand that you do not just need to call upon Jesus. Now, some people feel like that is just absolutely insane. Well, I'm just here to tell y'all that you're not here alone. And so many reasons why so many black people are so fucked up, and they keep calling on Jesus and Jesus, 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 and nothing has happened, it's because that is not your God. That is not your path. Now, for certain people, based on their ancestral lines, they can call on Jesus. You know, I'm not telling you don't call on Jesus. It's your life. But so many reasons why we as black people have so many problems, especially within our communities, is because we're not connected to our ancestral practices. We're worshiping a God who is alien to us. Does it mean that it cannot help us? No. God is real. The energy of God is real. Now, if you want to put him within the biblical context, then that's fine. But God goes above and beyond the Bible. He even goes above and beyond the Orishas. Okay? He is the beginning and the end. He is energy. So I'm telling you, get connected with your African practice so that you can connect with your spiritual mother, connect with your spiritual father. You never know. Your spiritual mother may be Oshun and your spiritual father may be Ogun. Okay? So please connect. That's what is so important. You'll see major changes in your life if you're following the right African path. Also, And for those who don't know what part of Africa they came from, there's no more there are no more excuses, guys. You can go on ancestry.com. There's now all of these companies that will break down every damn place that you are from down to your damn pinky toe. So there really are no excuses to finding out where you're from. So let's say, for example, you get a test done and you realize that you're from, I'm just going to use the obvious one, Nigeria. So you fall into Yoruba. So you can go into, there's many different paths in Yoruba. There's Ifa. Then there's the Spanish style Santeria. Then there's the Brazilian. There's so many different versions of what you can go into. Let's find out that you have a lot of ancestors from like Benin, Congo, Voodoo. You fall into the Voodoo category. So do you need to practice Haitian voodoo, or do you need to practice African voodoo? So it's your turn, because there's so many different versions of voodoo. There's different versions of Yoruba. So, and then there are so many African paths. Also, you have to go look for a diviner, someone who can tell you who has your head, meaning who walks with you, who's your mother, who's your father. Once you know, they're like having a version of your spirit guide. Now, you still have your spirit guide, your actual spirit guide, but that's a whole other video. But I just want you guys to have an understanding. Then you have to establish a healthy relationship with your bloodline, your lineage, your ancestors. So that's important for everyone living on this earth, is to still have a connection with their deceased relatives. That's big in African culture. It's big in Asian culture. I see that a lot. The Asians, they do that a lot. What's also shocking is the great deal of Africans who do not know anything about the Orishas. I met this young lady from Nigeria. Her last name was Ogun, and she didn't know who that was. And she's from Africa. No, her parents are from Africa. They've never taught her anything about it. They've literally flushed Yoruba down the toilet and have accepted Christianity. But we don't know, when you just can't stop practicing that and start on something new. It doesn't work that way. So now that you're aware that you are on your journey, there are some books that you can read. The first book that I'm going to tell you guys about, which it kind of sucks because my video is not showing the whole title, but the title is called Jambalaya. I recommend this book for everyone who is on their spiritual journey. It's going to teach you so much. It's basically introducing you to African tradition, and the author, Tish, I can never say her first name. It's like Louise, it's something like that. I can't say it. But her birthday was just I think like last week. But I just want you to read this book because it's going to take you on a journey, and it's an easy read. You can read in like 2 days, and if you're a fast reader, in like 1 day. To this day, I still go back to this book and I still read it. And she just talks about her journey, and she gives you a great deal of information on a lot of West African religions, and it's an amazing thing. And she tells you how she started off in like New Orleans, which we all know is an extremely mystical, spiritual place to be because of the mixture of the African and the Native American and the slavery. So it created a very interesting practice of like voodoo. So interesting book. Please get it. It will help you start off on your journey. There is absolutely nothing wrong with African spirituality. It's not the religion that is the problem. It's the people who practice it. So it's up to you to keep yourself balanced and to align yourself with those who are balanced. Um, so you will meet crooks, scam artists, the greediest people you'll ever meet in your life. It's so guard yourself. Like, go and look for people who have things in common with you. Shit, buy you a West African drumming CD. Start by doing those things. Dance within the African culture is ritual. It's a way of connecting with our deities, the dead, the ancestors. So dance, dance. That is how we talk to our, like, I'm starting to dance. I think I'm about to catch a spirit right now. So dance with your ancestors. When you dance, cry, scream, let it out. So here you go, guys. Thank you, Queen Bee, for doing your thing, for introducing and just letting us know that you know what I know.